thank you to all the Patreons for supporting this channel. You better not say a word about my funny funnel. What did you use as concrete? What material was used for the concrete in the video? What was the concrete stuff made of exactly? What did you use for the concrete? Okay, you want to know what I used for the concrete? How about I just give you a whole behind the scenes video of my latest remake? Why didn't I use Oliver the Excavator? Who is this character? Is this what you want? Just kidding, I was already going to make the video. So, On Site with Thomas is a pretty fun episode. It's mostly just everyone arguing until Patrick frickin' dies, and I've always wanted to remake that crash. It's a personal favourite. Earlier this year in June, the unlucky Tug bought the real Patrick prop, and I commented on the video saying that Thomas's point of view must have been hilarious when Patrick just flies out of the bush. Tug mentioned it in his next video and said he'd love to see if someone recreated that. And that's where I come in. But it would be kinda weird to just only upload the crash, so I decided to remake the whole episode. Let's dive into the timeline of events that made this a reality. So first up, big issue, I didn't own a take-along Patrick, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna pay like $50 for a used one on eBay. So I had to go to the dark corner of the internet, AliExpress. Here's my knockoff Patrick, guys. It looks pretty official, and it was only like $10, so... Okay, I got Patrick. Now that's all the characters I need, right? Right? So, Nelson and Oliver appear in the episode. Nelson just doesn't exist in Take Along, and I can't find any toy of him online anyway. It's fine though, I can just use Isabella instead. She transports things too. The big problem was Oliver.
Oh, I'm Oliver!
Nobody asked!
Again, no Take Along Oliver, but there is an Adventures. When this released back in 2017, I was so excited to buy it. It never came to my goddamn stores, and it's not on eBay, so it's just hopeless to get one, honestly. That's when I remembered that my channel is stupid. If you've ever watched one of my videos, you know they're outright dumb. In my last remake of Shed for Redwood, it was full of stupid gags and crap that just doesn't even make any sense. So I decided, screw it, let me just blue tack the shovel onto Oliver the Engine and boom, done, easy. There's my Oliver custom. Thank you so much, thank you, I know, it's beautiful. To emphasize this is clearly taking the piss, I purposely made the music cut off when he appeared and made Alfie just very confused.
Alfie made a beeline for Oliver.
And one final thing I'd like to add about the characters, I'm using Trackmaster Kelly. I have a take-along one, but the magnet's like really bulky and ugly, so screw him. Okay, that's the character sorted. Now onto the set. Obviously the pack work at a construction site. And in this episode, it's a dirt area, so I would need a dirt ground. I figured the best way to accomplish this was just with real dirt itself. So I got a cheap bag of potting mix. Now the thing with potting mix is, it's got stuff like bark and other big pieces in it. So to filter that stuff out, I made this sort of sieve out of an ice cream tub by drilling holes in it. Once I got the container full of filtered dirt, I put an old tablecloth on my set table and started building the first set. The main set in the episode has this sort of grass wall next to a single line of track with dirt to the side of it. So I used a strip of AstroTurf that I usually use as my grass mat to be the kind of wall thing. And I littered the bottom with bushes to make it look better? I don't know, I'm just guessing. I put the strip of track with some ballast and then the dirt to the side. And I put these mega blocks on the edge of the table to stop the dirt falling through the crack. The set was built and ready to start filming. Then Spaghetti-O, I accidentally started working on a big 40-minute video. Tee, I sure hope that doesn't stop me from working on this remake for over a month. Okay, now that I'm free, I decided to do a little test video before shooting the real thing. So that's why I made this sketch. It gives me a good idea how I should film with the dirt and the vehicles. Most importantly, making sure there's not too much dirt on the table, having just like a very thin layer allowed the vehicles to move easier without being as bumpy. Oh, and another thing. Filming with road vehicles with a string is so much harder than trains. You see, trains are bounded to the track. Road vehicles can do whatever the heck they want. I'm sure this would not be a problem later, right?
Subtle foreshadowing.
Now, it's time to actually start the remake. This shot is filmed with the CGI Jack toy, rather than the Model Series one, because it has a hollow bucket. The platform frame is made from Legos. I scrapped this angle of Max and Monty passing Thomas because I could just never get them to move the way I wanted. Remember how I said controlling road vehicles is hard? Yeah. I used this shot instead. To get Patrick's drum mixer spinning, I spun it in slow motion. That's why the quality is a little worse than the other clips. I think I should talk about that. When shooting at 240 frames per second for slow-mo shots, sometimes the quality is worse and more grainy. I try to fix some of these, but you can tell the quality goes down. Some of these shots would not be possible though if I didn't shoot it like this. So I guess it's a compromise. It means I can do cooler crashes. Speaking of, the hardest part of this video was 100% the crash. I wanted the crash to be perfect, so it took me 80 takes to get a good shot. I ended up using like, I don't know, take 47 or something. It's not perfect, but I knew I could never match the original. I tried and that's what counts, okay? It was like 1 AM, just leave me alone. Okay, so you want to know what the concrete was made out of? It was a mixture of yogurt, shredded bread crust, and a little bit of black paint. So sorry to this fan who wanted to eat it, it's not edible, I'm sorry. I think the mixture honestly looks pretty good. The bread makes it look thicker and less like a liquid. Okay, back to the crash itself. What made it annoying to film was the whole process of getting a take. First, hold a light to make the scene look nicer. Second, throw Patrick. Third, put Patrick in a glass of water to clean off the concrete, then wipe him with a paper towel and dry him with a cloth. Fourth, refill and level the concrete in the container. I had to go through this process so many times it killed me. But hey, some of these bloopers are comedy gold. Next, I had to get the shot of the concrete flying onto Thomas. I accomplished this by placing a bit in a plastic spoon, pulling it back and just flinging it at him. In the first take, I hit too much of his cab and also ruined my sky sheet. It's still got a stain on it. Second take was much better, but the sound this makes in slow motion is disgusting. Ugh, it's so sloppy. Ugh. Now that I filmed all the scenes on this one set, I could take it down. The next few scenes I filmed were Jack and Alfie going around the yard asking who the most important was. I had a lot of fun using different buildings and set decorations to try and make each place look different. Like, I've never had a use for this bridge piece until now. Alright, back in the drawer you go. Next was a scene I wanted to include before I started filming. To add a little comedy, I wanted Max to rush by Kelly and then have Monty just like knock him over as he crashes to the ground. It took a couple of takes to get Monty to hit Kelly right. The weird thing to me is, why are Max's front wheels just not moving? Anyway, I got some good shots of Kelly falling until a thought flew into my funnel. Can I unscrew Kelly? Yes. Yes, I could. The last shot on this dirt set I needed was a group of characters arguing about who the most important was. In the original episode, they have Oliver and Ned, but I didn't want to show my Oliver too much, so I replaced him with Byron. Initially, I was going to have Byron beat up Ned, but then I recently got this Esther from eBay. For the group of people who don't know who the heck she is, Esther is an Italian excavator introduced in the Series 23 special Digs and Discoveries. So you know what? I don't blame you if you have no idea who she is. That's why Byron wanted to kill her, because she's just a boring, lame, stupid, ugly, bouncing poop, farting, eyes departing piece of crap character. I've just upset the one Esther fan. Okay, I need to now remake this cliff set. So I put a small wooden offcut from my Bachman layout on top of some boxes. I actually made a time lapse for you guys of me decorating the set. I think the shot turned out pretty good. For the scene of the rocks falling down the cliff, I blue tacked Max and Monty to the base of the Sky High Bridge jump set, and I decorated with some bushes and ballast to match the other shot. Then I filled their buckets with rocks while using my phone case to stop them falling out, and in slow motion I lifted the phone case and let the rocks tip out. I find this shot pretty satisfying, not gonna lie. And that's a wrap on the dirt layout. Time to clean it. Wait a second.
Have I forgotten something?
I'd love for someone to recreate this in like Roblox or something. Patrick's crash from Thomas's POV. It would be hilarious.
Oh! I forgot that was the whole point I was making this remake. so I quickly made a set of Thomas's point of view. I had a mountain in the back to make it look less barren, and also hide the fact that the edge of the set is literally right there. To have Patrick fly through the bushes, I put that wooden offcut as a platform for me to push him. I really like this shot, I think it's quite fun. Alright, now we have just the dirt left. Before I get rid of it, I wanted to have some fun, because I don't know if I'm ever going to make another dirt layout, it's so messy. So I decided to do some slow motion crashes with my spare 80th anniversary engines. Here are some of the best takes. Time to clean all this dirt. First thing I needed to do was apparently knock over the container of dirt and spill it all over the floor. Good job! Second thing I needed to do was put the container out of my way so I don't knock the stupid thing again. So I removed the tablecloth and—
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's a lot of dust. Okay, now we're talking. Time for the road scenes. For the road, I used this bit of wood I painted grey for making dockyard sets. Now in the actual episode, these shots look like they're in a wasteland. Why are there so many bushes? Where are they right now? But you know what? Screw it. I'ma do the same thing too, because I'm lazy. Now you remember how you can't control road vehicles on a string well, right? You remember that. You remember me saying that like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago? So I wanted to add a bit in my remake where Monty dents Max, taken from this scene in a different pack episode.
He bumped Max. Ow, you've dented me!
For some reason, I thought I could film myself pulling Max straight and curving Monty to bump him, and then curve back. Was I stupid? Yes! Yes, I was, because this did not work at all! I tried using strings. My hand, Tommy Mavis. Nothing looked good. So in the final, I just did it digitally. It matched all the other locked-on shots, so I guess it worked? It doesn't look the best, but whatever. Another thing I wanted to add for a comedy aspect was just to cut to another road vehicle with like happy music until one of the dump trucks just smashes into them. I landed on using Trevor. I threw Trevor in some bushes, but I wanted something more. I thought about throwing him into like a mud pool, but this was hard to accomplish. You could easily see the edge of the container, and to be truthful, it just didn't look that nice. So I decided to just have him slide down a hill, and using some wet dirt, I made like a little farm area. The final take with the bush rolling down with him, and then like the way he hits the ground but like bounces up a bit, it just looks so nice. Then we come to Patrick crashing through the bushes. I wanted him to fly off without the bush covering his face. There's about 15 takes of this. Some of them are really cool to watch in slow motion. I got the final take I liked, and that was it. Filming was done. Hooray! Now we're in the editing phase. Before I put the clips in, I wanted to sort out the audio a bit. To be a little different, I separated the music and vocals so that I could change the pacing and make the remake more unique. It also removed most of the sound effects, which was good because otherwise I would have been forced to match the video with the existing sound effects. I found a nice simple pack theme rendition by NorrambyBranch, which I used at the start and the end. Then came the music I composed myself. First are some music cues. One is Jack's Season 6 theme. There are 2 pack theme ditties. A really useful engine ditty. And a music cue based on the song That's Livin' Alright. That's living alright. Let me know in the comments if you get the reference. The big music piece though was the chase theme, which was, funnily, a rendition of the Home Depot theme. I had my music and audio sorted, so I paced the video, put the clips in, and I had a rough cut. Now onto editing the faces, cleaning up footage, face tracking, etc. Let's go through the video in order while I give some fun facts and trivia. I wanted to include the concrete meme from The Unlucky Tug.
We're important. Concrete!
To make it more comical, I had Jack and Alfie in silence, just confused by his sudden outburst. Initially, I drew just like an evil grin for Patrick saying this, but I thought it'd be funny if I like lip-synced and masked my actual mouth on the clip. I'm not going to show you the raw footage because you can see my face in it, even though I've already done a face reveal before, but I just don't really want to show it again. So stop asking me, okay? There were a few times I thought about masking out my hand. Like, one example is this Byron shot for moving his blade, but like, I didn't bother because it just would have looked bad. I do these digital locked-on tracking shots with like a moving background because it makes it a million times easier than if I tried tracking the vehicle with my phone and then adding an animated face on top. I've tried it before. It looks terrible. Like I said before, the bump doesn't look that good, but the rough cut just looks hilarious the way I did it. Since my hand was covering most of Patrick during the crash, I had to mask it out, but that meant a chunk of him was missing. I could have used a different take, but this was my best one. So I added in a picture of his bumper and went frame by frame to place it back. You can kind of notice it, but like, whatever, it was the best I could do. Masking the spoon out of the shot left this mistake on Thomas's cab. I don't know why, but I really just wanted to make Monty look traumatized about the crash. I wasn't really bothered to make some sort of animated rig for Miss Jenny, especially since I needed this video to come out quickly. So I just made this like goofy bouncing motion, which is so obviously not serious, but I find it hilarious. And finally, Thomas pulling out the gun was a reference to the Shed for Edward remake I did last year. And yeah, that's how I remade On Site with Thomas. If you want to see a 30-minute behind the scenes video, that's available on my Patreon, as well as a comparison video between the rough and final cut, and I will release a crashing in the dirt video with more clips soon. Hey, Future Me Editing here. There's also an instrumental version of the remake on Patreon. This was a big project, and I learned a lot from the experience, but I'm probably never doing this again. It is quite a lot of work, but it makes you really respect and admire the effort that went into the actual episode. There's just one more thing though. What on earth do I do with all this?